Candace Owens goes to nuclear.
That was a little farther away and was further away and was also less equipped for the wound. Like it was a trauma 3 center. Enter code Candace. Okay, guys, so let's get into this. I mean, the attacks have not stopped. The attacks that are coming at me are good, though, because I am just feeling more and more energized by them. I understand exactly what is going on. The people fighting for Charlie Kirk's legacy. I got to say this. You know what? I have started to think, and let me know if you think this is crazy, but I'm starting to think that the assassination of Charlie Kirk was something akin to a regicide, right? The assassination of a king to install a new ruler who the king would have never approved of, right? Maybe people around him counseling the king, people who perhaps betrayed him, because there are just too many things that I am finding out that are not adding up to me, okay? There are also, I do want to say this, too many first times leading up to this event, okay? One person who emailed me said, hey, I've been supplying bulletproof vests to Charlie for all of these campus tours. And suddenly last spring, the last campus tour, they canceled my contract with them. They did not want to renew. When I asked them why, they told me that Charlie wanted to go a different direction by getting an army vest instead, like a metal army vest, I believe is what he says. And he said, this made no sense to me. I didn't understand it. Okay, so Charlie decided to use a new company, even though I don't think he was actually wearing a bullet vest on that day. So what happened there, I'm not sure. Something else that is really bothering me, just because I have done these campus tours, is the question of why Charlie was set to do 2 events in Utah a mere 20 days apart, okay? He was supposed to do UVU, and then today was scheduled to do, just 20 days later, USU. Now, those 2 campuses are just under 2 hours apart if you're driving. Why on earth would he schedule these events apart? It's not how Turning Point USA normally decides on their events. If you're going to do 2 stops in one state, they make it happen back to back because it doesn't make sense from a fuel perspective, from a traveling perspective, for you to go in and out of one state. Plus, they only have a limited number of events, right? So they want to make sure they can go all over the United States and see as many students as possible during every tour. This is how it works. I know how it works because I came from Turning Point USA, okay? I have toured with them every year, with the exception of this year, since I started working for Charlie. So that just struck me as very odd, okay? We've also received, or maybe I should say, maybe not odd, just something new, maybe. We've also received a lot of tips that the hospital that Charlie was taken to is not the closest hospital. And it also would not have been the number 1 choice hospital for someone that was suffering from that sort of a wound. Like it was a trauma 3 center. He was taken to a smaller regional hospital that was a little farther away and was further away and was also less equipped for the trauma that he suffered, that he was taken to Timpanogos Regional Hospital. And also something new is that hospital had just announced that they had a brand new CEO and head surgeon named Andrew Zenger. A lot of new stuff happening. And to be clear, typically the states dictate the protocol, and you're required to, after you have a certain number of attendees at an event, you are required to have an ambulance on standby. And I don't know Utah state law, but I also found that weird, that there wouldn't have been an ambulance on standby. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. But seemed atypical to me. Now, in terms of other things that were new, they announced on that same day that Andrew Zenger was announced as a new CEO. That was also the day that they announced Charlie's tour. They announced 5 dates, and 2 of them were in Utah, dispersed throughout the month. And it is also interesting to know that the Utah FBI also got a brand new set of employees. The state FBI department, Kash Patel, went ahead and fired not only the chief of the Utah borough, but also some other people. You can see this in the Daily Mail article. They recount this after Charlie's death. Kash Patel questions grow as it's revealed he gutted the Utah FBI leadership before Charlie Kirk's assassination. That is true. He fired the chief, among other people, and replaced her with Robert Bowles in August. I think Robert Bowles, actually, it was his first week when Charlie got shot. And he's somebody who has been in DC for decades. So seems to me to be an unusual placement to then want to re-up your entire life, assuming you have a wife and kids, and move to Utah. But whatever, again, everything just feels a little too brand new to me. Then I speak to the individual who I told you guys that I recognized, that had taken down the cameras minute 4 after Charlie was shot, the back camera of all the ones when you take the front camera. I don't know. Again, I'm not here to read into how people might act in an emergency event, but I thought it was weird that he was there in general, actually, that he was behind Charlie the entire time. I've never seen that. He's never been behind me at an event. He's never been lingering around me at an event. And I asked about that. I asked about just his presence behind Charlie, and plus the mysterious phone call that he was seen making in like minute 3 after Charlie was assassinated. And he told me explicitly that they were trying something new that day. Like it was something new. Charlie's super ambitious, and on the AV thing, they were trying something new, and they wanted to be able to feed it back instantly to Arizona. None of it makes sense to me, because these events are typically live streamed. But again, something new, okay? So let's stick with that theme. Do you want to know something else that was brand new leading up to this event? Charlie's perspective on Israel, okay? So let me say this so you can hear it. Charlie Kirk's perspective on Israel was not starting to shift. It had shifted entirely.
It's clear that something is wrong. And when you see things repeating themselves, you just need to understand one thing, that there's someone who is trying to hide the information. And whether they are hiding the information or not, one thing that is clear is, I don't feel there's no way today FBI will hide allegations that Candace Owens has put across regarding the death of Charlie Kirk. There were these people who were fired just a few days before his death. Also, there's this company that was supplying his protection. They stopped. All these things seems like a familiar story that we have been hearing every time we have a very big person assassinated or a very big crime happening. We see some changes that happened last minute. The FBI in Utah, the head of the FBI in Utah was sacked also. And all this movement, all these changes bring a lot of questions when it comes to accountability. And my question is FBI hiding something? Because you question why they would rather allow people to be misguided by information that can be justified, but now they go silent. And this is why I've said that I feel the government is exploiting the death of Charlie Kirk to disrupt people, to distract people from Epstein files. Because we have an audio confirming that Charlie Kirk autopsy was never done. The government knows whether they have this information or not, but they go silent. They don't really tell us what happened. You question why? Because the intention is fuel the conspiracies, fuel the lies, so that we don't know the truth. Also, Candace Owens here challenged the easy government and those who are pro-easy to provide information that counters his information. And when you see these things in the possession that Charlie Kirk had before his death about easy, you can understand that something is not adding up here. There's a reason why someone will go releasing a letter, like we saw in Officer Tatam video, release a letter and claim, how can we justify that? How can we truly say this letter was the letter that Charlie Kirk received? All these security details changes also is a very big red flag. And the narrative that the guy, Taylor Robson, was involved or was the main shooter, yet we cannot tell. We don't have full videos. We just have photos of him that look so fake. And the identity of these people, Candace Owens is here, bring a lot of questions because one looks so similar to the guy in the photo that was taken by FBI, not even the Taylor Robson. And the lies that have been going around, leave me questioning Why is FBI fueling the wrong information? Why is FBI lying to us? What is the point? I don't understand, unless the government is using the death of Charlie Kirk to, one, exploit it and distract people from Epstein files, or they knew more than they are reporting and probably protecting someone. Very serious, but who never knows? We never know about this government. It has lied about Epstein for long. The 9/11 and others. What do you expect? Let me know what you think about this in the comment section. I'm your host, James. Let's meet in the next video.